You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Sunday the 5th of October 2025 and you're listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. And once again, I would like to apologise for not doing a podcast yesterday. I had a really weird day yesterday. I didn't sleep very well the night before and I spent the whole day feeling anxious and I achieved nothing yesterday. Today, weirdly, I feel absolutely fine. It's so strange the way my mind and brain works. But so yes, I wasn't planning not to do one yesterday, but in the end there was nothing I felt like I could say and I just felt anxious and strange. But yeah, today, on the other hand, has been really productive. So I'm recording this, it's coming up to 2 p.m. And I've just done a relatively long writing live stream in which I did 4 writing sprints. So in total 1 hour 40 minutes of writing sprint, and indeed a little bit more than that. And I've finished the 0 draft of chapter 13 of Self-Portrait. Now, like I said, chapter 13 is where the important stuff starts to happen. It's where things start to unravel. I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's basically it's a chapter where something happens and somebody, one of my characters, has an ability to go back in time just by 12 hours at a time. So he decides to go and prevent it from happening. Sayward, like as moral support, even though she's been told for God's sake don't do that again, decides to do it with him, to go back with him. And that's when they find out they can't actually influence events that have already happened. They can't change it. They can't do anything. But not happy with that, Charlie tries again. So they've left themselves in a situation where at one point there's going to be 3 Charlies and Saywards running around in Newcastle. Well, not running around in Newcastle, but in specific places in Newcastle. So like the third version, Sayward's like, right, we've got to be really careful now because we know we're there and we know we're there. So we can't go back to my flat. We can't go back to your flat because the earlier versions of you and me are in there. We have to be really careful about, what we do and when. And so, yeah, it's, and that doesn't need following up because all they've got to basically do is keep out of their own way. For quite a long time now. Originally, they only had to wait for a few hours, but because Charlie took them back another 12 hours, suddenly they're supposed to be meeting with Jagvir and he was going to arrive in about 3 hours, but suddenly it's more like 17, thanks to what Charlie did. So, but it's kind of spelled out kind of what's going to happen next, but it's also going to enable me to stick in another thread, basically. So it's going to be, I can't really talk about it, so I don't want to give spoilers away, but it's going to enable me to stick in another thread into the story, which will get resolved later. And the other thing, so there's something I need to happen in this book, which is deliberately there to set a precedent for something that's got to happen in book 3. But it didn't really matter. As long as this thing happens and people know it happens, it doesn't really matter which characters it happens to. Well, I've now made my decision which characters it's going to happen to. So that's good. So what it means I can do is there needs to be something that signposts that a little bit. So now I've decided which character it is. And I'm not going to say what it is I'm talking about, but this, whatever it is, happens to Lady Desai. So I've decided to have her journaling regularly. So basically every day she writes down what happens that day. And I haven't referred to that yet, but I'm going to go back in and add it to chapters I've already written. It's just going to be, basically I've gone to great lengths to describe her beautiful desk as being completely empty pretty much every time we see her on it or near it. So I think there's always going to be a journal on there. And I'm just going to refer to that a couple of times. At the beginning of one scene, I'm going to have her writing in it. The significance of it will be explained down the line, really. But yeah, so that's good. And it means I can put a really far more shocking moment than I possibly intended for that character into the book earlier. So yeah, so that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. So that's that's basically, I can't say more, but I am very pleased. The chapter started off at 1,500 words, which is what I wrote at the writing group thing 2 days ago. And then today I've got it to 5,000 words. It does need editing, so it doesn't count towards my target yet. But it does feel like I'm a little bit back heading towards where I need to be. So I've written 5,000 words. If I can get those signed off tomorrow and then do a bit more writing, that'd be great. So my plan is to do a screen edit of the stuff I've written today, and then hopefully do the paper edit tomorrow morning, then have a rest, and then tomorrow afternoon or evening do another writing session, which I start on chapter 14. So yes, sorry I've been absent for a couple of days. I have got 3 in hand, so there's 3 days this month where I don't have to do a podcast. My hope was to take like a run of 5 days off at some point, but I've already lost 2 of those, so I can have a run of 3 days off, assuming it doesn't happen again, because I need to target myself with hitting episode 260 by the end of the month. I think this is 237 maybe, or 236, can't remember. Anyway, thanks for listening. I promise I will be back at some point tomorrow. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.